131873. Well, we all use online shopping, don't we? Because when it goes well, it's just so convenient. Whatever you want, you can find online these days. You can buy it and get it shipped straight to your front door. I use it all the time, especially with a little fella. With a 1-year-old, you've got your hands tied, so online shopping can be a godsend, especially when you need stuff and need it quickly. And get this, Australians spent $64 billion on online shopping last year. $64 billion. But there's the flip side of all this, isn't there? When it goes bad, it can go very, very bad. 3.6 million parcels last year in Australia lost, or worse, stolen. 3.6 million parcels never showed up. And there are people just showing up at the front door pinching your stuff. 131873 if you've ever had a super expensive item stolen or just never arrived. What was it? Was it a watch? Was it a bit of jewellery? Expensive piece of technology? Was it your passport or maybe your citizenship papers or a birth certificate or something? 131873. I want to hear the worst thing that's never arrived that you were expecting in the post. Because having to reach out to Australia Post or the courier company or the shopkeeper themselves, it can be a real punish to try to get anywhere because the bureaucracy is so difficult to manage. And really, if they've lost the package, sometimes they just don't know where it is. So, the question is now, should we be insuring our shopping against crooks and poor service? Would you pay for insurance? Well, Darren Milne has started a company called Ship Safely, which will insure your stuff when you check out online. And Darren's given us a little bit of his time to explain it all to us. G'day, Darren.
G'day, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. So 3.6 million parcels stolen or lost in 12 months. Why such an explosion?
Since COVID, I think there's been a massive explosion in the online shopping world. Once there's more product, there's obviously things that are going to continue to expand and get lost.
Are people taking advantage? They just walk around the street because there's so much of it now. So you wander up the street, you probably see a parcel, at every few doors in some suburbs, and you can just quickly pinch it pretty easily.
Yeah, it's so true as well, Chris. We've actually heard and seen instances that we've actually had to pay some claims out where you've got the crooks, the criminals, they're actually following the couriers around, waiting for them to deliver it on the porch, and they say, thanks very much, and they go and grab it. And,
really?
It's specifically, we've heard of it in Australia, and I think there was an article more recently, only a few weeks ago, and in the States, it's quite rife.
So there's literally gangs of crooks following couriers around, waiting around the corner and go, bang, thank you very much.
Probably not gangs, but more individuals that know that, that the courier leaves his warehouse or whatever, and that does it definitely happens. We had an example where we had a claim, it was a $3,500 item that was shipped from New South Wales to the Gold Coast. It was apparently signed for and, it went to an open business, yet the package never arrived. And, obviously the negative impact for the retailer, the consumer who's paid for the $3,500 screen, they've turned around and said, we took out Ship Safely's insurance, we'll make a claim. And I think we were able to settle that claim, within about 33 hours of being notified of it.
Yeah, right. So you're seeing more people do that. As people buy more expensive stuff online, they're more inclined to pay for a bit of insurance in case someone either pinches it or it just never shows up.
Yeah, generally speaking, it's less than a cup of coffee. And having had the industry issue, this has become an industry issue across the logistics and the online retailers themselves. We've come up with a solution. We've been in the pipeline for, probably almost 2 years. And only this week we've fully launched into this is what we can offer. So
ultimately, you guys are the middleman, so the retailer doesn't have to worry about it, the customer doesn't have to worry about it, and you do all the work.
Yeah, pretty much, yes. And we're talking to businesses in the US at the moment that, one of them in particular, they employ 7 people to deal with logistics issues. And they're looking at us to say, well, we can actually maybe cut that down to 1 staff and you guys can do it all. Yeah. So, and that's a big advantage for them. They're sick of getting their staff rung up and abused and, the staff turnover in that whole logistics replacement sector of their business. It's a high turnover of staff. So we're trying to keep everyone happy by offering what we've got.
Darren, I appreciate your time. It's a fascinating world now, isn't it? And it does concern me that there are people following couriers to see where they drop the parcels and then so they can pinch them. But anyway, mate, I appreciate your time and you have a good afternoon.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it.
That's Darren Milne from Ship Safely. 131873. What do you reckon? Would you take out insurance, or does it all depend on how expensive the item that you're buying is? Because I think that's probably what it comes down to. 0460 873 873. And what is the most expensive thing or important thing that's been lost in the post or stolen that you've experienced? Let me know.